everyone, it's Cindy. Welcome back to Studioloo. I'm here today with Tuesday 10. For those of you who are new here, this is where I take 10 things from a big basket of papers that I've kept from behind my desk here, and I keep on working until I've used them up. So today the 10 things I have are this. It's from a vintage children's book. It's all about fruits and veggies. Then this is also from another encyclopedia type book, and it's got some great science images. This is a jelly printing super neon page. We have a couple of little bats here. I guess that they go like this. So cute. I like how this one's sticking out his tongue. This is a page from a very, very old book. Yeah. This is a page of my Patchwork Girls digital on Etsy. I printed these for a couple of reasons. This is another jelly print, an art book page of the blue boy here. This is another art book page of this building. And then another art book page with a painting of cows. So I really need to try to endeavor to do Tuesday 10s because I just have like a truckload of paper in that bin right now. It's kind of a nightmare. So I am here today to try to keep it simple and to make things, get it done. So yeah. It's a little calamity. When I was taking the papers out that I wanted to use today, I think I must have knocked like 50 papers out and had to pick them back up and put them back. So it happens. Okay. Let me grab one more thing here. I'm probably just going to use that all by itself. But where did my yellow go? There it is. Thinking about... do I have anything else? I kind of like how those, you know what, I could back that with that, and that would be pretty nice as a backing. I just like how the colors look together. Let's do it. I think I need to get a new glue stick. I just said, let's do it. So I've been watching, you know how you get recommended things like in your feed on YouTube or other social media. I have been watching Andrea's Fashion Galaxy videos for a while. Maybe I'll try to link her below. Let me just write it down. I'm trying to get better at like linking things I talk about. I know. Andrea's Fashion Galaxy. So she is like the most adorable German woman, and she's obviously very into fashion, and she gives a lot of tips about like how to sort of style your clothing. You know, she's budget conscious. She's just extremely funny, and she has a lot of cute little pets, and I love watching her, and she's very funny. She gives all of her clothing articles a name, right? So like, you know, let's say she's talking about styling something, and she said, you know, oh, I need a belt. She'll be like, Christina, come here. And then she'll pick up the belt and it will say, I'm coming. And like, it has its own little accent, and it's very, very funny. And I love her. She's really, really cute and very funny. So yeah, I'll link her below. I'm having a nice day, actually. Had a really nice weekend. I went mushroom hunting with my daughter and my son and my husband. I should just say my whole family. And I got to show my kids the magic of the red mouth bolete. So if you're unfamiliar with the red mouth bolete, it is a mushroom that is really cool. So when you pick it, the top is red, the underside is yellow. But then when you you bruise it in any way on its yellowy side, like you pull off the stem or you press your finger into the little, like boletes don't have mushroom gills. They have tiny spongy holes. You press your finger into it and anywhere you touch will turn dark indigo blue. It's really a very fun, fascinating kind of mushroom. So I got to show my children that. Maybe I will, if I think of it, I will plunk, you know what, not if I think of it, let's just do it. I will plunk the video of the mushroom in here after this little bit right now. Can you pull the stem off of the mushroom? Crack it off right at the base. Crack it right off. Good, 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 good. Pick it up. Okay, now watch the mushroom. Watch the mushroom. Look how it's changing color. Do you see what's turning blue?
Wow.
It went yellow to indigo blue. Really cool. Now watch. When you put your finger right there and you press on it, you see how it turns color? Isn't that cool? So that's fun, right? So I'm going to take this, I'm going to use this little cow paper to make an envelope, I think. So how tall do I want it to be? I want a little bit of the sky. So let's just glue, 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 glue. Nice tall envelope. Then glue the bottom. Like a policy envelope style. Oops. Probably going to stitch this. Then up here, I'll decide where I want to cut it. Probably there. So I've just been trying to work away on things. I have my papers in the press for the library, the children's book that I'm working on, the storybook journal. So it ended up being serendipitous that I wanted 7 signatures in that book by the time I sort of sorted out all the papers. And that's about how many single folios that I had from the book. So I'm going to put 1 folio from the storybook in each one of the 7 signatures. I'm just going to fold this under. I want to see how to give this envelope a nice little lip of strength there. Usually I just cut the back side off, but I kind of want to do this. That will give it some strength. I think that's very cute. But I couldn't, I guess I could glue it down. Yeah, why don't we do that? So let's just put some glue on the flap, both sides of the flap. So yeah, all those books are in the press. And I'll probably try to make another video because I know I get a lot of comments about like, oh, I'd like to see you do this or that. And then I kind of, I secret away to my cave here. And then I'm like, flip through. And people are like, whoa, you're done already? Yes, I get a lot of work done when I'm on my own. It's a funny thing. I think because I don't have to be nervous about like making mistakes when I'm filming. Okay, that's cute. My little Moo Moo's envelope. All right, adorbs. Yeah, I'll stitch around that. It'd be also very cute, I think, with like a little label right there or something. I don't know if I have anything on hand. I only have, 1,000 probably labels in this studio, but oh, when the heart wants something, let me see. I'm probably not going to be able to find what I'm looking for exactly. And I won't settle for the alternatives. I want something that's like, that's kind of cool. Yes, yes. That is what I wanted, like a shape like that. So this is actually not a label at all, but it's from, you know, that digital that I've been promising I'm going to get done someday. It's getting there. The little art bits and bobs. So it's coming. It is. This is one of the little watercolor swatches from it. So I like that. Okay, so that's done. That can go over here. Now, let's go to this little science. I love this image of glasses. So, yeah, for those of you who know me, you know I'm always wearing weird, cool glasses. These are pretty normal by the standard of glasses that I'm usually wearing, although I do love their iridescent rainbow. But I'm usually wearing some kind of weird glasses. And I do have some quite wild ones. Speaking of glasses, I need to call my optometrist because I'm overdue for an appointment to get my eyes checked. So I'm going to do that. I also need to get my daughter in to have her eyes checked before school, before school year begins. So you're always supposed to do that with little kids because you never know if, you know, their vision changes. And even though she can spot things from a million miles away, I have to also be conscious of the fact that, like, sometimes that can impact things, like if they can't see up close. So I want to use, for backing things today, I have a few paper bags. So I had to go to the market yesterday and get things, including corn. Oh, my corn experience. I should tell you about my corn frugal lady experience. So, you know, obviously I think we're all feeling the effects of whatever it is that's going on with the economy and food. And in my opinion, the large grocery store mass fraud that's going on, and our leaders are just letting it happen to us all. Same as the housing fraud that's going on where no one can get a house. The joys of capitalism. So that being said, I was like, I wanted corn. My family wanted corn for dinner last night, like fresh Ontario, local kind of corn. So we stopped at this one place. It's actually like a frozen food place, but they do have like a little market outside and inside. And I was like, oh, okay, yeah, they've got corn. So we go, and I have absolutely no problem whatsoever paying more for things if they're like, you know, a farm to table sort of experience or whatever. But I mean, in theory, with produce, it should be less money than what the big grocery stores are charging, because in the season, when things are in season in Ontario, there's actually a mandate that like the food, all of the grocers are mandated by some amount that they have to have like Canadian produce. It's all the food tunnel, and there's all these things. I know a little bit, but not a lot about it. But anyways, what I'm going on about is I went to the stand and they were selling corn, and it was $1.50 an ear. And I was sort of like, what? So I was just kind of thinking to myself, like, why would they do this, right? So $1.50 an ear, and then or 3 for $4, which I was like, what is this bizarre math? Is this, I don't know. So I said to my husband, I'm like, I am not paying that for corn. That is like when celery suddenly became $5 and it used to always be like $1.99. It's just celery. It's just corn. These are literally things that your body just processes and spits out. Like, it doesn't do anything nutritious with it at all. Corn is essentially not digestible, and celery is just like you're eating water. So I was just like, Then I ended up going to another market. Like, there's a lot of little farmers markets here, and they were selling corn from their own farm, and it is $5 for a dozen. And I'm like, okay, that makes a lot more sense. And boo to you, corn reseller that tries to pretend that you're a farmer's market. You need to be careful with farmers markets. I learned that a few years ago when I was working at, so for a time, I would say up until I got pregnant with my first child, I used to do a lot of shows. And one year I committed to the farmers market in my community, because they had like an artist's market that was attached to the farmers market. So I was selling my yarn, my pottery, other random things that I would make, because I've always had a bit of an eclectic kind of my attention span tends to be all over the place. Maybe that's the truth of it. So I end up wanting to do a whole bunch of things, and so that's what I did. I sold all sorts of different stuff. And so I learned that a lot of the vendors at the farmers market are not vendors. They're not farmers at all. They're just buying food from the Canadian Food Tunnel in Toronto. And they're able to buy just like a grocery store, and they would just bring it to the farmers market and sell it there with no labeling, no information. And I didn't necessarily notice it at first, but then I was like, wait a minute, watermelon is not in season. What's going on? And I started to look at things and look at the prices and look at the vendors and who they were and where they claimed to be from, and I'm like, none of this adds up. So yeah, farmers markets you've got to be a little careful with, especially in urban environments where people have access to a lot of things that they try to sell you, beans for the price of a lobster or something. It's very tricky. I was actually watching a funny video this morning, so as I tend to do, I was scrolling through my phone early this morning while my kids were kind of waking up and stuff, and I was waiting for the coffee to brew. And there was this guy on like TikTok, and he's a fisherman, and he was catching lobster, which I don't eat lobster. I also don't believe in the boiling of anything alive. It's really heinous to me. But he is so lovely because he teaches a lot about lobsters, and he's involved in essentially like ethical kinds of fishing, even with lobsters. So like, there's kind of levels, right, to like how people are going to eat or to support certain things. So there's either that like, you're vegan, you don't eat anything, or use any animal products. But then there's people who are like, somewhere where they have some moral or other obligation to not eat animals, or to not, to do less harm or whatever. So I live somewhere, I was vegan for about 16 years, and I've been octo-labo-vegetarian, and right now I don't have any kind of heading to the way that I live. I just try to like, I guess, do less harm, if that makes sense. Like, try to think about where things come from, how much, meat do I consume, what's the footprint of my life in general, right? I think that's kind of how I live, and I'm starting to think about ways I can be even a little more aggressive in my decisions about, health and sustainability for the planet. Because there's not much that stresses me out more than climate change, right? Especially right now with all of the weather patterns we're seeing that are unusual. unmanageable and scary, and really highly impactful to many, many of us. So I've been thinking about that a lot. And so he is this cool fisherman who he shows you like lobsters, and he first video I watched was like he was removing what kind of parasite was it? Like not plankton, but I forget their name all of a sudden. So that they look like a little round volcano white, like almost like a limpet shell, and they stick to lobsters and other sea creatures, and like, you know, just kind of live on them, parasites, right? But they can become problematic because depending on where they attach themselves to the lobster, like if they get under the claw or between the kind of layers of the tail shell, it can really mess up the lobster. They can either not catch food or not swim, and then, you know, they'll die. So he was removing them, and it was so cute because he would pick up the lobster, he would remove all this stuff, and then he would give them a little fish in their claw, and they would hold on to it, and then he'd put them back in the sea, and he was just like, okay, here's your snack, have a good day. And he'd like remove all of their parasites. And then he was also showing like female lobsters. So what they do if they find what they call a breeder, which is like a female lobster that is in, I guess, the part of its life and has the ability to procreate, if it has eggs underneath the tail, it's kind of cool. Like their tail looks like this, right? And it has a little fan kind of here. All under here, it's like there's these kind of ridges, and like the eggs, there's like, you know, there's probably like 1,000 for every year that the lobster's been alive. So this guy said, based on the size, this is probably about a 60-year-old lobster, and it had probably 60,000 eggs, you know, and it was just really neat. And so what they do is they take this little punch kind of thing, and they punch a little tab in that little fan like cartilage, I guess, at the end of the tail. And what that signifies is that the lobster is a breeder. So to all of the fishermen who may catch her when she doesn't have eggs, and it's not like clear that she's a breeder, they will see that notch that's been clipped in her tail, and they'll throw her back because they know, okay, she's a breeder. So like for the rest of her life, you know, she's safe from all fishermen who may abide by that rule. So I thought that was kind of cool. Here it is. I'm looking for word snippets, and I need to like organize my desk a little bit. I think I just need to put away washi tapes. I was playing with washi tape, and I left too many of them in my little basket that I keep on my desk. And then they crowd things out. Maybe that. The Invisible Prince. That's fun. Searching through fields and woods. Use the sun and stars as guides, searching the fields and woods. Invisible Prince. Let's make a little story for him. That will be what we'll do. Oops. That word snippet is lost to the floor. I have to find it later. Okay. And I went to the library this afternoon with my daughter to do a little reading and writing practice, and my husband took my son to the pool, and he hasn't been there in a little while, and he was way more outgoing. So he's kind of had this way when he goes to the pool, he wants to sort of do certain things, and like, I get it, because he wasn't tall enough to touch the bottom, even in the shallow end. So he didn't really want to be like ferried around in the pool by either of us. He would tolerate me for a time, but he wasn't really interested in like doing much other than standing. There's like a ramp that comes down into the pool. It's a big long ramp, and he would stand on there and he would splash and he'd have fun. I mean, he had a great time, but like, we were trying to get him to come out into the pool more, maybe put on a life jacket and float around, but he just didn't want to. So we didn't really push him on. You know, you have to kind of follow children's lead in this and really all scenarios. So today my husband said, like, he is a changed boy. He can stand on the bottom of the pool now in the shallow end, so he's way more confident. And he apparently, like, the lifeguards, who are such great kids there, they're like really nice young people, they went and got the little water slide that they have, when the kids are playing. And so he had said to my husband, he's like, water slide, because he saw the other kids doing it and he wanted to try. So my husband was kind of like, okay, like not sure how it was going to go, but he gave him the opportunity, and he went on that water slide, like my husband said, like probably 10 or 15 times. He just kept going until they had to put it away. So he loved it. So he was having a great time with some other little ones, and that's always nice. It's really nice to see your kids kind of go from like one stage to the next. I'm just going to cut around our patchwork girl here. This is part of a collection that I did for my Moonbee Journaling Club on my Patreon. We have a theme each month, and this one was patchwork. So I made patchwork journals and patchwork ephemera, and I did a little digital collection for it. I don't always do one, but I wanted to this time. I just felt it would be fun. Going to cut out this little flower here too. And then tonight my husband is going to go and get more pavers for our backyard. We have to create a little row of pavers to put our barbecue and our smoker on. And then I've got to take down this shelf that I have attached to my fence where I used to grow plants there, but I don't anymore. So I want to take it down and rearrange my backyard, because we're getting a new patio table eventually. And we're actually going to look at those maybe tonight, see if we can find an end of season one. That would be great. Got to take advantage of those, you know, sales when you can find them, because you can save a lot of money on stuff that's never fun to buy. Like, you know, as fun as it is to have a patio table set, it's not like the kind of thing I find fun to buy. I'm like, I want to save my money for art supplies. Come on. But yeah, we need a new patio set, and so we're going to have a nice little space there to make that all work out, hopefully. This little patch there, and these little bits. If you are interested in this patchwork doll kit, it is on my Etsy shop. I can link it below. Let me just make a note of that. Patchwork. Because yeah, it's a fun little kit, and it's got I don't know how many, like quite a few little patchwork dolls. And then this one, these two go together, these two girls. I'm just cutting in here because I want to like have some of that jelly print show through. And I'm trying to decide what I want to do tonight. I think other than going to get those stones and look at patio furniture, we'll see how long that takes, and I might recommend going out for a little bit, doing something. Talked to the local elementary school today because I'm debating putting my daughter in elementary school instead of homeschooling this year. It's a really big decision and I'm struggling with it, but I think it makes sense for a couple of reasons. The main one being just that it's hard for me nowadays because I work full-time. For a long time, I was able to do both just because of the kind of job that I have. It's very flexible. I work at home. And also, I can do most things with her, but I'm also a very kind of honest person when it comes to like, is this working? Is that working? So I feel like it's working 95%, but there's the 5% that I'm concerned about, and I'm an over worrier, and I just feel like I need a little bit of help with those few things that I'm not getting enough time to teach her. And also, like, I feel like having a little bit of time where we spend like where we have routine. So my family is pretty spontaneous. I'm not a routine person, and like kids kind of thrive in routine. I'm not a big fan of like, you know, very systematic routine. Like I'm not looking to introduce any of that, but I do think she would benefit from having to follow some routines because, you know, there's play-based learning, which I am a huge believer in, and that will not stop. I'm actually talking to the school about part-time solutions and also what's acceptable school absence, because there's still a lot of things that I want to enroll her in, like the fall ecology program that I've been planning to put her in, because I feel like it's very beneficial learning and it's making her more of a good citizen of the earth, right? I'm not interested in creating little consumers, or I've already signed the paperwork that she's not going to be doing any government testing. Like they're weird. I'm a big believer in the government being a lot less involved in education, and educators, people who are actually trained to educate children, being more in charge of things. I think the government needs to butt out, hand over the wallet and butt out. You're there to support public education. You have no experience as an educator. So just let the teachers do their jobs and pay them well to do them, because they are the ones who are the biggest investors in our future as humankind, by teaching our little people how to be good people. So that's my little education rant. But yeah, I'm going to be very involved if we go that way. I've already been looking at like parent council and volunteering programs, and I mean, I've been wanting to get more involved in things like Big Brother, Big Sister. Like I've done some of this. I do a lot of different kind of social program volunteering and things like that. I'm interested in all sorts of things from hospice to like, I have a lot of animal kind of rescue in my background. I have a lot of that kind of thing, and I'm just changing it up as it needs to apply to my kids for a while as they're little. And, you know, I was saying to my husband, like, I'm feeling a lot of things about this potential of sending her, both good and bad. But either way, like, it's an experience, and if we don't like it, we don't have to stay with it. And it's also like, these things aren't forever. at least in the system that we're in, they have a system of kind of like you have middle school here, which I was not familiar with. I went to the same elementary school from kindergarten to grade 8, and then high school, grade 9 to OAC, or grade 13, which they called it before they called it OAC, and then they got rid of it altogether, sadly. I went to 2 different schools my whole life. My husband had a different experience because his family was military, so they moved different countries and around the United States pretty frequently, so he had a very different experience than what I did. But we're both big believers in public education, and we both have a lot of friends who are excellent teachers, and yeah, we're kind of at a crossroads because the politics in our province are conservative and we don't align at all with them, and we believe that the Minister of Education currently is essentially a hack. He doesn't belong in that job. He was a homeschooled, very privileged person who's still a very bratty person, a very bratty man, and yeah, not a fan. Okay. But you know, you just kind of have to try things and see how they go. Have lots of options. Okay. So that's all glued down. Now, let's make 2 pieces of ephemera with this. One. That feels a little bit wide. We're going to tear that, and I know I'm tearing into these cutouts that I just cut, but that's fine. I like how that looks better. So we need to ink these, back these. I have no more ink on here. I love the bright colors of these little dolls. I spend a lot of time on these, actually. I worked on them probably for about a month, just kind of refining and playing with the colors. Sorry for that little snip. I had to change my battery. I just backed these with brown bag packaging paper. And I will definitely stitch around those and probably add some fabric to the top. So those go over there. Okay, now what do we have left here? This old paper. Do I need to use this? Should I use this? Is it interesting? It's just these 2 little kids and they're reading a book. It's kind of... I don't think I'm going to bother using it. I don't know. It doesn't really speak to me. I'm going to take from it, though. This is from The Beautiful Tree of Life. It was a really pretty book I made into a tree book. I'll take the snippet from there. But yeah, I don't think I need to use it, so we'll just pass on that one. That can be a part of Tuesday 10 too, where you just kind of decide, like, no, thank you. So these little bats, I love them. I think they'd be great for the Halloween season. So why don't we make a couple bits from them? So cute. Let's trim this down a little. I kind of feel like I want to go to the movies or something, but there's nothing really playing that I can take my daughter to, and I would want to go with her. My son's a little young yet for movies. He can't stay in his seat. But my daughter is awesome to go to the movies with. I was thinking of maybe taking her to like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, because I know she's too young for Barbie, unfortunately. Although some part of me wonders, like, is she really? But I haven't seen it myself, so I don't know. But I've heard that, yeah, it's got a lot of like adult kind of things in it, which I'm usually fine with, because those are how you have like platform discussions with your kids. But I have to see it myself first to know if it's okay. And I don't know what they meant by adult conversations, because, you know, for some people, they don't talk about things like social justice and politics with their kids. I do. Because I feel like, you know, if anything, that's what I want them to know about as I hand, you know, the earth to them as their elder, and I won't be here forever. But if it's things like, you know, lots of kind of adult slang and language, and, you know, any kind of sexual topics or anything like that, that I don't really feel like explaining. I mean, we talk about those things too with my daughter, because, you know, children can only benefit from education. Being scared of anything is never worthwhile. But you do obviously have to tailor your language to the age of the person listening, right? So, and you sort of decide how you want to discuss those topics. I just learned this really cool way of talking to kids about, like, kind of, you know, these days we don't teach stranger danger anymore, because the truth of the matter is that some of the most dangerous people to children are not strangers at all. So instead, we're teaching our kids about tricky people. So what tricky people are, they're people that you may know, they may be, you know, around you often, and then one day, out of nowhere, they act like different than they usually do, or, you know, they do things like try to, you know, isolate you, get you alone, or keep secrets with you, or, you know, like all those kind of concerning things and where they can lead to, right? So I was happy to have those resources to be able to talk to my children about, because anything helps when you're educating kids about stuff like that, the complex topics. So let me go and stitch here, and then I'll come back and I'll show you everything that we made during this GabFest. So I'll be right back. Okay, so we made 9 things today. So I have this journal card backed with this fun bright jelly print, our policy cows here, this policy envelope with the cows, and I probably need to just put my ruler in here to just open that on up. There we go. I really love it. I stitched around it. I think it's cute. Then we have our little, this would be a great little tuck spot. I think I may end up using that in my library journal. I think that would be cute because she has glasses. Let's pop that over there. Then this is just a really cool vision chart. I'm like, that's a nice journal card. I stitched around this like a little booklet. This would also be nice, like if you're doing a journal about something, you could then add something to it, like you're doing a storybook journal. Let's say it has a man and a goat in it. You could add them there and make this a part of your story. Searching the fields and the woods, use the sun and stars as guides, the invisible prints. So that could be a fun part of a story too. Then the 2 journal cards with my patchwork dolls. I stitched some lace and fabric on the top there, and yeah, it's fun. And then our little bats, and I stitched some eco-printed fabric up top on those. I'll just probably trim that one a little. There we go. And they're super cute. So that is the end of today's Tuesday 10. Thanks for hanging out with me. If you are, you know, this is your first Tuesday 10 and you found it was, you know, pretty chit-chatty, that, just so you know, is normal. I kind of use Tuesday 10 as my usually weekly, like, you know, chitter chatter about life and stuff. So yeah, hopefully you can get something creative to do, and you'll hang out with me and watch, because it's a nice little creative, usually hour that I spend. So have a great day, and we'll talk again. Bye for now.